had taken the job out of desperation. A single mother from the Philippines. She had left her young daughter behind to work as a live-in housekeeper for a wealthy family in a foreign country. The pay was good, and she promised herself she would endure anything for her child's future. But she never expected this. From the moment she arrived at the grand estate, something felt wrong. The house was enormous, too quiet, as if it was holding its breath. Her employers, Mr. and Mrs. Whitmore, were polite but distant. Their son Oliver, however, was different. He was 9 years old but disturbingly intelligent, speaking in a manner far beyond his years. His piercing blue eyes never blinked long enough, and he had a habit of watching Maria, always watching. At first, it was small things. She'd feel his stare while she scrubbed the kitchen floor. She'd turn, and he'd be there, standing silently in the doorway. She'd hear whispers in the hall at night, only to find him standing outside her door, smiling. She told herself she was imagining it, until the night she woke up with him sitting at the foot of her bed. "Oliver, what are you doing?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "I wanted to see if you breathe when you sleep," he replied, his head tilting unnaturally to the side. "Sometimes they don't." She didn't sleep after that. Maria started noticing scratches on the walls, tiny fingernail marks like something had been clawing to get out. Once, while cleaning Oliver's room, she found a collection of dead birds under his bed, their small bodies carefully arranged in a spiral. She ran to Mrs. Whitmore, breathless, shaking. "Your son? There's something wrong." But the woman merely sighed, rubbing her temples. "Oliver has always been different. Just stay out of his way." One evening, while preparing dinner, Maria felt a sharp sting on her calf. She gasped, turning to find Oliver standing behind her, holding a sewing needle. Blood dripped down her leg. He smiled. "Just testing," he murmured before skipping away. That night, Maria locked her door. But sometime around 3 a.m., she awoke to a sound, scratching. A slow, deliberate drag of nails against the wood, then a whisper through the gap under the door. "Why do you lock it, Maria?" "You know locks don't keep me out." The knob twisted violently. She clutched her rosary, praying. By morning, Maria had made her decision. She packed her bags and confronted Mrs. Whitmore, demanding to leave immediately. The woman simply sighed again and handed Maria an envelope. "None of them last more than a few months," she said, her eyes hollow. "Take the money and go." Maria left without looking back. But as the taxi pulled away, she glanced up at the grand house one last time. Oliver stood at the window staring, and as the car turned the corner, he raised his hand and waved goodbye.